What's up guys, Lvladen here, and today I'm coming at you with an exciting video. This is actually take two of me making this exciting video because somehow I recorded the whole thing with no audio the first time, so we're going to try our best the second time. This is our first in-depth look into Ret Paladin on the Midnight Alpha. Huge, absolutely huge changes coming to Ret Paladin in the next expansion, and all of which so far that I've come across look to be absolutely amazing. Let's get into it. So the first thing that we're going to talk about here is the class tree. The class tree has received numerous changes, and little disclaimer here, a lot of things in the alpha, since this is the very first iteration of the alpha, do not work, are bugged, or are missing for whatever reason. So, you know, some spells I'll show you, some spells might work, some spells won't, but let's get into it on the Paladin class tree first. So, our first change here, Hammer of Wrath is now a passive ability that changes your judgment into Hammer of Wrath when you have wings active. This is huge. This takes away one of our abilities, and actually, I support this. It makes the rotation feel super smooth. You don't really have to think about this button. And I'm skipping ahead a little bit. We have Templar strikes in the rotation now, which I'll get into in a little bit here. But before you freak out over losing Hammer of Wrath, it's still, the animation's still there. The functionality is still there. It is just a passive that changes judgment into Hammer of Wrath when you have wings active now. Pretty cool. Next major change here is losing repentance here. So now we only have blinding light. You know, that does kind of suck for you PvPers out there that liked playing the polymorph Ret Paladin, but unfortunately, no one else aside from us enjoyed that type of gameplay. And yeah, it looks to be that blinding light is going to be the go-to talent. Goodbye repentance. See you next time Blizzard decides to bring you back. Rep has been here in and out, in and out, in and out, you know, since its inception in classic WoW. Fist of Justice reduces Hammer's cooldown by 15 seconds, so it's a 45-second default cooldown now. Now it's 30 seconds. Pretty cool. It's the same. We have to take Cleanse Toxins now to get down into Healing Hands. Imperial Ward is the same. What else has changed here? Not too much else changes until we get down into Abdercy. Abdercy is now a 2 talent point option. Now it stacks up to 4% speed and damage reduction. We have Brought to Light, which is a talent that, you know, when you kill something that gives you EXP or honor, you blow up doing 2k damage. It's not that much damage. Probably leveling talent and nothing else. We have a new talent called Fear No Evil, which I see getting absolutely obliterated in PvP because this is insane. 60% reduced duration on fear effects during wings is nuts. So you pop your cooldowns and then you can't be CC'd basically by warlocks or priests. I don't see that staying in PvP, but I'll abuse it until it's gone. And next up, we have what changed here? Nothing else changed here. I'm not sure if Divine Reach was a thing before for Ret, but it is here. Lead to Charge is the same. The sack talents are the same. Holy Ritual no longer works on Freedom, but it is actually massively buffed compared to what it did before. Holy Ritual now works on sack and bop only, and our HP pools are much smaller now. There's a huge stat nerf. I'm only level 80, but my max HP right now is 56k. So numbers got wicked squished. So, you know, an 8.5k heal is not bad. It's not bad. Next up, Blessed Calling's the same. Inspired Guard's the same. Light's Revocation, I'm pretty sure that was down below before, but it's up here now. Does the same exact thing. Golden Path, healing for 22. 22 is very weak. Selfless Healer remains the same. The next thing that changes down here are actually these two talents. Vengeful Wrath now makes Hammer of Wrath deal up to 50% increased damage based on target's missing HP. Lower HP receives more damage. That is different from its current effect, which takes place at 35% HP as a true execute. Now it's just based on a missing HP. We have Shield of Vengeance now in the Paladin talent tree. Basically just makes it so your divine protection, which is now default, casts a shield of vengeance. So, you know, we don't have two buttons, two defensives now. They're baked into one button. Which, to be fair, I'm fine with. It seems like it's okay there. And you know, everything else over here remains the same except the bottom row. So Lightbearer is the same, but Blessing of Dawn now, while you're above 85% HP, you're going to redirect up to 5% of all damage taken by allies to yourself. It depends on how tanky Ret is going to be in PvP if we play this or not. My guess is probably not. That seems more like a tank or Holy Paladin ability here. And then what we are going to play is Blessing of Dusk. So now we take up to 10% reduced damage, you know, increasing as our HP decreases. That will definitely be taken by Ret in PvP. So a couple talents you'll notice that I can't really take here because of the build. I can't take the shortened cooldown on Blind, and I can't take our Eye for an Eye. We do get more talent points leveling up though. So there's going to be workarounds with some of these talents here. Just Reward. This is also a 2 talent point ability now. I think I did forget to mention that. But outside of that, everything else is relatively similar. All right, let's get into the juicy Ret tree right here. There are a ton of changes on the Ret side. All right, let's start with the Ret tree here. The top of the tree is going to look vaguely familiar if you've played The War Within and Dragonflight. However, as we go down the tree, things are going to get weirder and better. So starting off, we have Blade of Justice, Divine Storm, Expurgation, all returning from the previous expansion. The major thing that we're going to notice here is that we have wings now on the 3rd row of the talent tree. Fantastic. 1 minute wings is the default. 20% damage, healing, and crit chance. Awesome. Judgment of Justice is the same as Swift and Light of Justice. After that, we have more familiar talents. Final Verdict. You'll notice that Justicar's Vengeance is gone finally. That ability was never viable, even if after it was added in the rework. We have Holy Blade and Improved Blade of Justice, both returning from before. And we have Art of War and Righteous Cause. These have new effects, but the talent points that you'll see, or the tooltip here, is from talents that we'll get to in a little bit. We have Holy Flames, which no longer works on Divine Storm, but still is a 5% holy damage modifier. We have Sanctify and Tempest of Lightbringer, both returning as well. And now Rush of Light is located in the middle of the tree. And it works a little bit differently now. So now your generators, your Holy Power generators, will trigger this effect rather than your single target Holy Power spenders. So this is a lot more viable than before. You'll also notice that Jurisdiction is still here. So we have 20 yards on Final Verdict and Blade of Justice. We have Unbound and Boundless Judgment reading currently the same. And then we have Zealot's Fervor and Heart of the Crusader located in the center of the tree here. So now we get to my favorite part of this miniature Ret revamp for Midnight. Guess what's missing? Crusading Strikes is gone. Hallelujah. I could not stand Crusading Strikes. I hated Crusading Strikes from day one. And no offense to anyone in particular, I'm just not a fan of that passive style, like rage-focused gameplay that it kind of transformed the Holy Power system into. So with that being gone, we now have a slightly reworked version of Templar Strikes. So Crusader Strike now loses a charge, and what it does is that you press your first Templar Strike, and your next Templar Slash, there's no fade on it. It doesn't go away. I'm actually going to show you guys right now on the dummy what it looks like. You always hold on to that second charge, and then you press it, and it's an auto crit. So I Templar Strike. Oh, let me just redo this here. So you saw that. I Templar Strike, which has a cool new animation, and then we Templar Slash. Actually, we're really laggy, so it's not showing the animation here. So it looks like the overpower animation, and then there's no expiring timer on Templar Slash. You can just hold on to the charge. Say the enemy gets away, say something more important comes up in the rotation, you stay on that charge until you have to push the button, and boom, you push it. And then if that cooldown has expired on Templar Strike or you know, come off cooldown, then you can just press them both again. It's really cool. I really like it, and the gameplay feels super fluid. We're also missing Hammer of Wrath from the rotation, so it doesn't feel like the rotation is actually super convoluted or full, too many spells now. And the Holy Power streamline from the revamp feels very, very, very nice. So yes, I'm happy this is back. And I don't think it's overwhelming in terms of, the amount of buttons that you have to push in the rotation. So next up, High Lord's Wrath is the same. Empyrean Power is the same. It's just on the left side of the tree now. Blessed Champion's the same. Burning Crusade is now 10% on your dots. It's not radiant damage. And Penitence is gone. So they basically moved Burning Crusade up and then removed Penitence. Next up here, we have our Wake of Ashes, Seething Flames, exactly the same. Radiant Glory. Little bit different Radiant Glory here. Radiant Glory now no longer has a proc effect on wings. It's only on your Wake of Ashes. Now, that is compensated through Divine Wrath right here, actually working with Radiant Glory. So if I remove some talent points here, see we have the baseline 8 seconds. I toss them in Divine Wrath. I change my talent points, and this should be 12 seconds total of, Radiant Glory, 12 seconds. So, pretty cool. That actually segues me into talking about this new side of the talent tree right here. So we have just Blades of Light reworked into being some Holy Power Generator damage increases. We have Execution Sentence, which is now a combined Final Reckoning and Execution Sentence into one simple button. Very nice. And it has an additional effect if you take the Capstone talent below, which causes your next 2 Holy Power spenders to refund all their holy power. So can anyone say Hammer of Light? Thank you. Yes, please. This is a very, very synergistic talent with Templar. Unfortunately, Templar is Omega broken on the alpha right now, so we can't really mess around too much with it. But I'll show you guys real quick. It's no longer a targeted at cursor spell. It just takes place if I push my E, which is my execution sentence, boom, you have the animation and you have both abilities go off right here. Now, the exception is Final Reckoning only is that AoE burst of damage. It's no longer increasing your Holy Power spenders by 15%. Actually, I think the default in PvE was 30%, but I'm a PvPer, so it was always nerfed for me to 15%. Below that, this Judge, Jury, Executioner effect, which totally got revamped from the old version, also increases Holy Power spending abilities by 5%. So it's not like Final Reckoning is like completely going away. It's just mostly going away. I can't remember if I went over this, but Burnt to Ash is the exact same in the same spot here. Now we have Empyrean Legacy, also identical talent, or I shouldn't say identical talent. It's a little bit revamped. It now works on your first Avenging Wrath. So that's triggered by both your Radiant Glory here or by your push of wings. That triggers the effect. It's no longer triggered based off of Judgment. I kind of like that. It just makes your wings a little bit more burstier at all times that you take it. And then right below that, you have Crusade, which is a little bit different. So now Crusade only causes your Avenging Wrath to function with the... I'm sorry. It in addition to its effect, it causes your Avenging Wrath to give you the ramping Crusade effect. So Crusade now is just that haste focus portion, but it's not ramping damage. You immediately get the damage, and then the haste is the ramp portion. Unfortunately, right now Crusade is broken, so I can't really show you guys how this talent works. But from my interpretation of that, that is how it works now. So it's going to be the 20% modifier, and then it's going to stack and ramp up with the haste. So then that leaves us with the brand new juicy Apex talents here, which I actually at least assume these are going to be the Apex talents. They're over on the left side of the talent tree on the red side. These Apex talents are actually, they're pretty cool. I like them. At least I think they're the Apex talents, because from the roadmap I saw that Apex talents were coming later. But these, to me, look like they could be Capstone Apex talents. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of some talents here. We're going to pick these up. I guess I didn't need to get rid of them both. The first one here is actually very strong. And now tuning is obviously subject to change. This is very early alpha. Tuning is going to be probably one of the later things that they do all the way in beta. So this causes your Art of War to increase the damage of your Blade of Justice by 150%. That's a huge modifier on Blade of Justice. It makes it hit currently with current tuning and other modifiers, it makes it our hardest hitting ability when paired with the new talent Light Within. So during Avenging Wrath, Blade of Justice unleashes a wave of holy energy, dealing about 4.5k additional holy damage to its primary target, and it has a little bit of splash damage. It has a really cool animation, in my opinion. And then the middle talent here, Light Within, just causes Avenging Wrath to further increase your Final Verdict and Divine Storm. So a nice big fatty modifier here. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what the Light Within, actually they're all called the Light Within, but the last Light Within Apex talent looks like right here. And that, oops, where's my wings? I got to put it back on my bar here. It looks like this. So I pop my wings, there we go. And then I hit my Blade of Justice, and it does this like cone effect. It's really cool. Let's see if I can get some Art of War resets. Probably not, honestly, just because I'm recording a video clip here. But yeah, as long as you have your wings active, oh, there's one. That right there was a 6.7k Blade of Justice and a 5.5k non-crit Light Within. That pumps. That pumps. So keep in mind, a Final Verdict is 5.9k. So you add those up, huge damage. Huge damage. Tuning to be determined, but I think it's pretty cool. I like the animation. It's something different. Speaking of animations, I would like to see a change on the animation of Judgment. Judgment feels like it's lacking something on the alpha for some reason. Like the animation just isn't as crisp as retail, and I'm not sure that's, oh, maybe it was crisp there. It might just be the alpha build, to be honest. And then if I push my wings, it transforms to Hammer of Wrath. I think both those animations are in need of a little bit of an update here, just in my opinion. But yeah, that's pretty much how Hammer of Wrath works. All right, let's talk about the last section here, which is the hero talents. So if you are, if you're coming in from the War Within, hero talents were introduced then, and now we have a fourth row in the hero talent tree. So most of them are the same for Templar. We have Zealous Vindication the same, Sacrosanct Crusade the same, and this Wrath is a little bit different. Now your Empyrean Hammer has a 10% increased critical strike chance. So that pairs really well with an effect that's carrying over from our current War Within set bonus, which is Light's Judicator. That's the same as our current Ret 2 set. And Sanctification is nerfed just a little bit. Shake the Heavens is the same. Higher Calling is the same. Hammerfall is the same. And then Light's Deliverance actually currently doesn't function the same, and it also reads a little bit different. So like while Wake of Ashes and Hammer of Wrath and Hammer of Light are unavailable, you consume 50 stacks of Light's Deliverance, empowering yourself to cast Hammer of Light in additional time for free. I don't know if it says an additional time for free. I don't know if that's the same wording as retail. It might not be, but currently this doesn't even work. So even if you get to 50 stacks on the alpha right now, it doesn't function. And then you have Wrathful Descent. This is nerfed, so 50% of the damage is dealt to nearby enemies. This was 100% before. And then we have Bonds of Fellowship and Unrelenting Charger is the same. Undisputed Ruling is the same. I'm opting not to take this row though. And by the way, you do fill out this entire tree as you level up. I'm not max level here, so you will get all of these talent points. You get Divine Hammer, which is now a passive. When you press Divine Toll, it just triggers Divine Hammer like, in a regular old Divine Hammer. Light's Judicator, current War Within 2-piece set bonus, but is now rolling over into the next expansion. And then you have a choice note here between Seal of the Templar. So this actually makes Templar attractive to me because currently Gleaming Rays on Herald makes Final Verdict very strong compared to Final Verdict as Templar. Well, now Templar gets its own version of Gleaming Rays. I like it. And then it's also competing with Divine Exaction, which Divine Toll to cast 2 additional times on your target for 150% effectiveness, which I'm going to go ahead and show you guys right now. It kind of reads like it should be almost like a Shadowlands Ringing Clarity type deal, but I'm not so sure if it's going to be super good or not. We'll see here. So 1, 2, Yeah. And then, by the way, there's the Divine Hammer. And then the Divine Resonance as well. So tons of hammers. They're going all over the place when you push Divine Toll. Hammers everywhere. You like hammers? Then red's for you. At least Templar. Moving over to... Of course, I can't change talents combat. I guess I could have moused over them right there, but we're just going to skip over here. So moving over to Herald of the Sun. Herald has actually changed a good bit here. So we have Gleaming Rays. That's the same. Same with Morning Star. We have Illumine and Will of the Dawn. Both also the same. And Aurora. But now we have Blessing of Anshi, which has changed a good bit here. So now it affects your judgment and only by 50%. So now there's no more Mega Hammer of Wraths. It's just a little bit additional damage on judgment and Hammer of Wrath when, you know, when judgment is Hammer of Wrath. You still have Lingering Radiance, which the following talent makes me question how Lingering Radiance is going to work with Walk into the Light. So like now you have a 100% chance to gain Blessing of Anshi and to generate 2 holy power after casting Wings. How's that going to work with like not taking Blessing of Anshi? Actually, let's answer our own question right now. So I'm going to go ahead, pop over, and in theory, I should just get a Blessing of Anshi anyway. I do. Oh. Okay. So even if you don't talent into Blessing of Anshi. All right. Love it. I'm actually just going to go ahead and take... I guess I'm just going to take Lingering Radiance every single time since we're going to get a little bit of a Blessing of Anshi right here. Anyway. And that Blessing of Anshi also generates 2 holy power. So that's pretty cool. That's nice there. Luminosity is the same. Sunsteer is the same. Second Rise is the same. Endless Gleam is new. So probably in compensation for removing the proc part of our Radiant Glory, we now have Endless Gleam, an ability that allows us to extend our Dawn Lights a little bit longer. Solar Grace here is the same, and Born in Sunlight is new, but I mean, it's just another passive. So Dawn Light's crit chance is increased by 15% during Avenging Wrath. So that's going to total in PvE at least, a 35% crit chance, and in PvP, likely a 30% crit chance because Avenging Wrath is nerfed in PvP. All right, that's it for the hero talents for now. I'm sure we're going to see tons of iterations. It's also very likely that the current build that we're seeing right now is actually not the build that is going to be pushed out on the live alpha test realms, because currently this is the private alpha test realms. So it's likely that we're going to see some significant changes between this alpha wave and the public alpha. All right. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you again for tuning in. I appreciate Blizzard for allowing me to test out and review these changes before they are, before they're out there. And I can't wait to provide tons of feedback, both on Ret and Paladin in general, and also all the new UI changes which are coming, and all the other classes, which, by the way, I'll be doing a review on Enhancement Shaman, Survival Hunter, Dual Wield Survival Hunter, anyone? That's pretty sick. And all the other melees that I play, which is pretty much every melee except for Pharaoh Druid. So we'll see when I get to those. Probably the next one coming in is going to be a review on the UI, though, because the UI changes, I really would love to get the UI right for brand new PvPers. I think Blizzard has a really good shot at accomplishing the goals that they want to set for, the new expansion. So let's help them out there. All right, guys, let me know in the comments what you think about the new Midnight Ret Paladin, and I will see you all next time. Peace.